All right, what's going on, everybody? So this is Weapon Wheel Podcast, episode 28.5, doing a little midweek podcast because we have a special guest with us right now. Um, this is our second developer on this podcast. Glad to have him. So before we get into allow him to introduce himself, I'm going to let the rest of the cast introduce themselves. Abel?
Good morning, guys. What's going on? I'm Abel Green. Yeah, check me out on YouTube, and yeah, let's talk games. Let's get it in.
Okay. Ricky?
Hey, thank you for having me today. It's your boy 3MG, representing 3MG Nation. Glad to be here. Thank you so much, and let's talk it.
Okay. And Anchor?
Hey everybody, it's Anchorman here. Just glad to be on the podcast, talking to a great developer, and yeah.
Okay, and you already know who I am. And Joe, I'm gonna go ahead and let you introduce yourself, let the people know your position, and I guess you can just give them, for those who don't know, a brief description of exactly what Battalion 1944 is.
Yeah. Hi guys. I'm Joe Brammer. I'm the executive producer on Battalion 1944. Thank you for having me here today. We just announced some of our stretch goals. Battalion 1944 is our World War II shooter. We're kind of going back to classic multiplayer first-person shooters, and it's going to be on PC and PlayStation and Xbox One. Yeah, that's pretty much the short summary of it. We've just announced some stretch goals. We hit our funding in about 3 days, and then we've just spent the last 2.5 weeks making a load of new content to show you guys, and it's really nice, and we're really kind of excited to see where it goes in the next 6 days that are left on our Kickstarter.
Okay. So first question I wanted to ask you, because I'm always like interested in developers a little bit outside of the development and game process. What games are you currently playing?
What games am I currently playing?
Yeah.
At lunch, the entire team here, which is about 10 of us, we sit down and we play Call of Duty 2, Capture the Flag, 4v4, 5v5, and yeah, that's like the most intense competitive scene I've ever played in, but I love it. It's probably my favorite thing right now. But at home, Counter-Strike, we have a little team here. We play in ESL, and then Arma. I love Arma.
Arma, let's go.
Yeah, we love modding that and RHS, and yeah, we love Arma, man. I like flying the planes. It's too much fun.
I feel like you're one of us because I feel like you're on the whole competitive kind of hardcore gaming thing.
Right, right.
Traditional style, yeah.
Hey, man, I'm a shooter guy. Always have been. Just
Let's go.
love
Let's
it.
go.
Love it. I've played as many of them as I can, but I think for me, starting out with like Battlefield 2 and those games, like love it. Love it.
Okay. Anchor?
All right. So my first question was, I know that your team's gone to Normandy to get an inspiration for the game Locations, which is awesome. I went there in 2009 to do DA studies and World War II strategies and such.
Cool.
But I wanted to know, how in depth are the maps you will be creating? Are these actual locations, or are they just more inspired by the general area?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because one of the reasons the Germans would set up in places like Carentan and it's because, or the crossroads in Foy and Bastogne and that kind of thing, it's because they were good locations to defend, often high up, often with like swamps around them. They were hard to attack and that kind of thing, or they favored the German tanks and that sort of thing. So a lot of the time, it's totally imbalanced. So for us to just go, right, we're going to copy Carentan directly as it was, that doesn't necessarily work very well. So the way we're doing it is we're going back to Normandy at some point in the summer, I think, and we're going to do something called photogrammetry, which is when we basically take a photo of, say, a building or a wall or some floor, and these are the actual buildings that were there during the Normandy landings and that kind of thing. And we can then put those actual buildings in the game, so we'll be able to have like the real walls, the real feel, the look of the environment in Normandy, but the maps themselves will be meticulously designed as competitive, balanced, fun, and entertaining levels. So we can't just say, yeah, let's just copy that place, because it just wouldn't work. It's not designed for that. Because frankly, it's amazing that the Americans, British, and Canadians made it onto that beach. It is amazing because it's just a big open area. It's so yeah, for us, competitive is the way we need to go.
Okay. Abel?
All right, Joe, then thank you for answering that. I'm from the era of SOCOM, one lifer game modes. Do you plan to do a one lifer game mode in this game?
I saw your initial video and you listened to your idea about it actually. Yeah, I see you smiling. Yeah, we there's been a lot of people asking for that one. I'm not quite sure exactly what they're asking for. I know we had a discussion in the office before we announced about maybe some kind of lone sniper mission where there's maybe 8 of you and 7 of you are the Americans and one of you's a German sniper and you hide in this town and potentially you have unlimited. The Americans have unlimited lives and this one sniper has one life. So um, you have to be really cautious and get as many kills as you can and be sneaky and hide. You can't just run around. But then eventually, whichever American kills the German gets to swap and play as the German. So yeah,
Oh, okay, that's
it's kind
interesting.
of a
That's really
it's,
cool.
it's a cool little game mode, but we haven't quite tested it yet. But I like the idea of that, and I think if we did a one life kind of thing, that'd probably be the best direction to go in, sort of thing.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Ricky.
All right, so that was a great question, by the way, Abel. And I just wanted to ask a little bit about the in-game part. So since you're going back to the Call of Duty 2 style or the traditional first-person shooter, I see that you're a huge fan of competitiveness and competitive shooters. So I wanted to make sure that is the game's rewarding system going to be based on gun-on-gun warfare or streaks at all?
This is a tough one. The community is literally split down the middle on this. Like people saying, "I want this, I want that." So it's going to be a tough one for us. I think ultimately we're rewarding skill. If we can find
I like
something
that. I like that.
we think is skillful, then it will be rewarded. What we're not rewarding is, yeah, I mean, we don't want to give people, for instance, kill streaks aren't necessarily bad because a kill streak by definition is just you get, in Call of Duty you get 3 kills in a row consecutively, and you are rewarded for doing that. Now the
Yes.
problem that lies with kill streaks in Call of Duty is that you're rewarded with ridiculous things like, oh, you get 3 kills, well now you got an airstrike and you get 5 more kills, which gets you a helicopter, which gets you 8 more kills, which is like, what
There you
the
go.
what the hell is that? So that's the issue with it. But kill streaks themselves, and now when people hear kill streaks, it's a little bit worrying. But we're not doing anything like that level of it. We may just reward people for skill. That may be rewarded, whether it's extra points for getting 3 consecutive kills, or whether it's just like a little badge or a little, you get to have an engraving for the day or something. There's tons of ways we could go. But yeah, I think urge people to not be scared of the word kill streak. Just redefine it.
I'm definitely glad that you feel the same way as us because the community may be split, but I think going traditional and allowing the player to feel rewarded by their
Yeah.
skill, and I mean things like you've mentioned badges or even like a leveling progression, weapon unlocks and stuff like that. I think can replace kill streaks. I personally would love, and I can say all of us love gun-on-gun warfare, and I
Definitely.
think with all
Definitely.
these shooters nowadays where the rewarding system is if you get 20 kills you receive this ridiculous kill streak. I think it actually neglects the actual tradition of a gun-on-gun warfare style, and we get things like campers and we get a lot of separation in the community, and I really have hopes for this game, and I
And
think
the
that route
thing
you're
with
going is good.
camping, though, like you're saying about that, the thing with camping is like in say search and destroy, capture the flag, that can be a
Mhm.
really valid way of playing the game. But in things like free for all, in Call of Duty and Team Deathmatch as well, it kind of just generated this whole ethos and player mindset of if I sit here, eventually, even if no matter how bad you are, eventually you will get 3 kills in a row and you'll get that UAV and you'll know when they're coming around the corner, and it just ends up becoming ridiculous. But if we can get rid of that part of it, like camping, it's annoying for when you're the guy on the other end, but it is definitely a tactic that can be used in competitive games anyway. So yeah, I mean, but we're on the side of, like you said, we're going back to classic style and just kind of not keeping it simple, but staying true to the roots, I think, is the way to go, and
Mhm.
revitalizing those roots.
Definitely. Thank
So
you.
yeah, so yeah, I love everything you're saying about skill, but everything you're saying is so logical, and it's like what a lot of
Yes.
us
Yeah.
hardcore gamers think,
Yep.
and we always think like, why don't developers think like us and notice the same things as you were saying, like this kill streak system doesn't really make sense, that you're awarding people a little bit too much, and then you're kind of like breaking the game. So yeah, I definitely, it's great that you're aware of that. So as far as this is obviously going to be a more, I guess, game that's catered to the hardcore. I consider myself a gaming purist in a way, in that I don't believe like, because I came from like Abel, the SOCOMs, the
SOCOM,
early
baby.
Rainbow Sixes,
Yes.
Medal of Honor, Allied Assault. I came from that generation, so all these new games with all these crutches and stuff, just I'm like, this is not the way gaming's supposed to be. So do you care at all? I guess I guess you can. I call them the filthy casuals, because yeah,
The
you
filthy
want
casual.
people, you want the game to be accessible, right? But you don't want it to be, I guess casual. So I guess how are you handling, the fact that it's going to be a more hardcore game? Are you worried about people, um, just not, I guess, not
Yeah,
being able to get into it?
I know what you're saying. One of the okay, so with going on console as well, that always becomes a bit more of an issue where you have players that need to be taught the game a little bit more because there's less variety than there is on PC. Um, whereas I think, have you played Red Orchestra?
Yeah, I have.
So
Yep.
you guys understand that they've got like over 2 million players, which is nothing compared to Black Ops and games like that. But there's still a lot of people playing all the time. You can always play and have a good game, but there is a kind of expectation there that you'll understand the game, and that's hard to garner that kind of interest on console. So we do not that we don't have to dumb it down. We just have to make it accessible and understandable. And PC shouldn't be a problem with this kind of thing because you can quickly just go and Google something if you need to. But with console, for us, like, yeah, I mean, making it accessible to everyone and making it so that because it's a skill-based game, if you go in every game and people have been playing for a year, that they're just like 10 times better than you, or literally a year better than you, then you'll just quit eventually, right? But at the moment, the issue is almost the same thing because you go in a game. If you buy Battlefield 6 months after it comes out, there's no point playing because everybody's got 6 months worth of unlocks on you plus DLC plus unlock. It just gets
Preach. Yes.
so there is a tough thing there. And ultimately, Counter-Strike matchmaking is the way to go. But whether we can do that or not on the money we're getting is, we'll have to see. But I think we'd love to have a way that we can give new players a start. And if you've played Chivalry, they have servers that are for rank 0 to 15
Chivalry.
only. And that's a really good way to do it. But the second you leave rank 15 on Chivalry, you just get hammered and realize how bad you really are. So, there's definitely options out there for us.
Okay. Abel?
All right. Joe, from a development standpoint, what came first, making levels in concept art, or did it come to a feature set character first in development?
In development? Oh, so we were kind of standing there, and I'd been whining and complaining for about 6 months, saying, I want to make a World War II shooter. And, eventually just kept building up, and then we're in this meeting. We're actually working on a different game, and then we said, what if we just did it? What if we were the guys that made the World War II shooter? And then we said, like, okay, what if now is the window? People are waiting to do it. What if this is the window and we need to do it right now? So we kind of, increased our team size a little bit, started spending money making our prototype, took a couple of guys off our other game and just said, let's go for it. So we built it, and then a month ago we announced, and this is where we are. So for us, it was everything at once. It wasn't in order. But when it comes to the final game, and in the next 6 months and next year, what we're doing is we're building the game from the ground up, building solid foundations that can last, a 10-year cycle kind of thing. Like something for us, like playing everything in white box. If you guys know what that is just
I know what that is. Blocked out. Yeah, I know.
Exactly, blocking it out. Just design like getting the player mechanics and the feel for the game down from day one, and that's like our focus is like, right, how does this game feel? How can we make it good?
Okay, good man, Joe.
That's
good man. All right.
the way for us. And the problem lies really with the fact that some players in the community will go, what are you doing here? Everything's just white box. Well, yeah, but this is taking us 6 months.
Do the
And you don't
gameplay.
understand.
Yeah.
Like, we could make a crap game. We can make a crap game in 6 months, but can you make an amazing game in 2 years? That's the question.
Good
Anger?
man.
All right. So fans kind of want to know. This is actually a question I pulled from the chat right here. Fans want to know how interactive the maps will be, or even with the player models. Like, will it be a shifting environment like weather dynamic or something, or it will be like one person brought up you could like shoot off people's limbs with a shotgun.
So weather dynamics, there's no real gameplay benefit to it at all, and slight visual like fun. Like, it's kind of cool to have, but it will like hammer your frame rate. So it's just like the pros do not outweigh the cons in any way whatsoever.
Okay.
All right.
So what was the other one? Sorry.
One of the people asked whether or not there was going to be like player dismemberment. Like they brought up a specifically like Call of Duty.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember that. That was COD 5 they brought along, wasn't it? Yeah, I don't see like there's not really a problem with it, and I guess we could do it. It's just people have to remember like this is not just our money we're putting in; it's their money as well. And you know, I want destructible this, I want that to blow up, I want this to happen, that to happen, and like you gotta say, okay, we want this feature. That's money. That costs money. That costs time. And then they're the same people who are complaining that the game's not out yet, and these kind of things. So we have to balance cost versus time versus release versus, because you guys just want to play it. And at the end of the day, would you rather play it sooner, or would you play it with like exploding limbs? Like, it's definitely, what I would say is it's not on our priority list, but it's not impossible for us to do.
All right.
Ricky?
Well, okay, this was one of the questions that I think Abel mentioned. I had like a similar question. It was about the amount of content that's going to come with the base game. And since I know this was a multiplayer first, and I see that you guys are working on a dedicated single player, with its release coming, well, when, 2017?
Yeah, I think early access May 2017.
Okay, so with that being said, I think one of the biggest flaws and the biggest issue with a lot of shooters, lack of weapons, or the fact that the replay value, people get used to maps and people get used to using the same weapons. People don't like to experience other, attachments and stuff. How much content or how much weapons are you guys trying to really bring? Especially this time period is one of my favorite eras for shooters. Like, how much content or weapons or maps are you guys really trying to bring with the base game, or even within the future of Battalion 1944?
So, weapons, maps.
We haven't got like a set figure of stuff we're trying to bring in. It's not like, oh, we're having 10 of these, or it's really like because it's a Kickstarter, we have to see where it goes and how it grows and how it what people want. I think with the longevity side of it and replayability, variety wins, right? So being able to go through maps that are changing visually and gameplay wise and level design, that's important to have like a vast array of levels that you have to play with different styles and different skills. Call of Duty 4 did that quite well with maps like Crossfire and Crash, and then you have like Vacant, and there's like a huge array of like talent you have to like garner to be able to play each one. But ultimately, I think with weapons, we are doing the cosmetic side. We're not doing like, there's no freaking heartbeat sensors here. It's just, that's not happening. But we're limited, and one of the reasons the bigger companies move away from this is because they're limited to what weapons they had in World War One. So we'll be using what we can from there, but the game will always be balanced. That's our focus, is balance and fun and entertainment, not necessarily how many weapons can we pack into one game that breaks the whole game. It's about balancing it.
Right.
Okay.
Should we expect the typical game modes? Maybe capture the flag, obviously death match. What should we expect? Everything like that?
Yeah, definitely those ones. Capture the flag, team deathmatch, search and destroy. Free-for-all, team deathmatch. Yeah. Well, the thing is, we've had discussions on like which one we should support as our like main competitive mode, and although like I said, we play Counter Strike. We're big Search and Destroy guys. Play Call of Duty, Search and Destroy guys.
All right.
But the thing is, if everybody's doing that already, like that's already a thing. So why would we go? Oh right, Counter Strike has millions of players and they have a huge competitive scene. So let's just copy that. Like it doesn't make much sense. So one of the ideas is that we design everything around Capture the Flag, and make it a really fun team-orientated game. And we balance it towards Capture the Flag, and because it's such a great game mode as it is, it just gets overlooked in so many instances because it's often a secondary game mode to free for all, team deathmatch, and search and destroy. So if we focused on it and said like the maps are designed around this, which is normally like attack and defend, and it's quite simple mechanics, then yeah. And also you don't have to be like an amazing player to get in and play Capture the Flag. It's like a pretty easy game mode to follow. But then if you guys have read about Battle Rank, have you guys seen much about that? Battle Rank? Yeah, so Battle Rank is our stat system, and it's also our competition system. So you can sort of you can make a platoon in a battalion, and you guys will compete against each other for daily, weekly, monthly rewards.
Joe, I have a quick question about Battle Rank. Is that something that you program within blueprints on UE4, or is that something external?
It's internal in the game. Like you start at whatever platform you play it on, it's internal, but you will be able to access it externally as well. But it's hosted on like Azure. It's not like a blueprints thing or anything.
Okay, it's not from blueprints. Okay.
No, but it's in the game. It's very much. It's not like you have to go and register somewhere else. It is the game. The game is around this battalion system.
Okay.
So, your Bulkhead is currently an independent studio, right?
Yep. Fully independent.
And you also worked on Numa Breath of Life. That was at a different studio. So you've worked with with a studio that had a publisher, and now you're working with an independent studio. Is there one? How I guess how is it different? Your experience working independent than with a publisher, and are you enjoying a little one more than the other?
We haven't really worked with a publisher as a studio before. We worked alongside them. We haven't been we haven't taken somebody else's game and made it. We've always made our own games. So this isn't strictly something new for us. The reason it's really good for us being independent is because I hope you guys have seen how passionate I am about first-person shooters, right?
Oh yeah.
Everyone on this team is, and everyone cares about it. So we can do what we think is best for the game and not make. We have to make decisions sometimes based on finance, because ultimately finance can make the game even better. And players often don't see that. We have to make financial decisions, like having the Americans as the main side because America's the biggest market. We have to make decisions like that, but ultimately that makes the game better. So for us, being independent, we're able to take everything we loved playing the games as kids and being super committed to them and just hours every day. We're able to take that passion and turn it into a development cycle and turn it into a development scheme and ethos. And I don't think a studio's really been able to do that yet, because once you go above 30 people, you lose that right away. You can't contain that on a 300-person studio. So keeping it for us to 10 to 15 guys, we can choose people to work for us who are passionate about shooters. We can only hire people that are passionate about what we are passionate about. So that's a real pro for us.
So on top of that, just to piggyback off that question, so if I guess it's probably a little bit early, and you probably have been approached by any, publisher or anybody that wanted to pick the game up. Would you consider that as a studio, or y'all just want to definitely keep independent, keep it small?
We definitely have been approached
already. Okay.
Multiple times, and some really, really big people. So it's really cool to be in that.
You can't name them, can you? I would love it if you could, but
right.
No chance. I'd love to stand and do that, but I can't. But we're not, like I said before, sometimes we have to make tough financial decisions that benefit the whole game. What I can say is we will never, ever give up the creative control of Battalion. That's just not going to happen, because the whole reason we're doing this is because we think the games of today and first-person shooters are just crap. But I think for us, we don't need a publisher right now. If we did, we could take one, but we will never ever give up that creative control, because that's the thing that's making Battalion successful, is the fact that us and the community together are making this game. So
Correct.
as far as we're concerned, there's no problem with us getting a publisher. There's a problem with us selling the creative control. That's the problem there.
Okay. Anchor?
Sorry.
No, go ahead, Ingo. I'm sorry.
I thought he asked me. I'm sorry. My internet's glitching.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, I had one question. This game is a lot more focused on the multiplayer, which is something I think most of us here would absolutely love. But one question that does come up is single player. I know it's like a stretch goal currently to have a single player campaign, but many would like to know why you guys decided on no single player campaign on the initial plan.
I think Cliff Blazinski did an article about 3 weeks ago discussing how much it costs to do a single player game. Now, in 2006, when Call of Duty came out, basically first-person shooters and single-player campaigns were, and they still are today, really, is run here, and we'll have a voiceover, a guy saying, "Quick, let's go this way," and then they'll throw a load of Germans at you, and you shoot all of them. And when you're 12 years old doing that, and that's awesome. But now, single-player games are direct competitors with The Last of Us and Mass Effect and all these huge games, Tomb Raider.
Correct.
There are huge games, and those games have budgets of upwards $100 million, like $200 million, really. So just to think, oh, why aren't you doing a single-player campaign? Because it costs a lot of money, and we're not releasing crap. We're only releasing good stuff here. So for us to say, oh yeah, we'll do a single player campaign, we've sort of budgeted it out of how much we could do it for, and that'd be £1,200. Sorry, £1,200,000. So, it's literally just cost. We could make a good single player game, but it takes so much money, and the players don't realize it. They think there's some kind of just like add single player button. There just isn't. It's just so
it's difficult, man.
So you can definitely confirm with like what Cliff said, that most of the money in development goes towards single player, and I think he said like a huge portion of games that have multiplayer and single player, a lot of people don't even finish the single player.
Exactly. It's like 75% of your budget, and maybe 50% of your players play it, and 30% complete it. It's just not worth it. Like, and this is back to the whole like financial thing, where it comes back to like, just because we consider the finances of things and consider will things make us more money, if we make more money, we can spend more money on Battalion. So the less money we make, the less we're willing to spend on it. So, and frankly, at the end of the day, games cost a lot of money to make, and we actually do it for quite a good rate, and we have ways of making it. We work quite hard, long hours, and we push it so we can do it for the rate we're doing it at. But we just want our community to realize, really, that if we discuss money, it's not because we're going to monetize everything, or we're going to do pay to win. That's not happening. This game is just about making a really good first-person shooter that's sort of back to its roots and revitalizing games that we played when we were kids.
Ricky, you had another question?
Yeah. So I just wanted to know, because I see you're very, once again, big on the competitive side. Where do you see Battalion in the future, or where would you like to see Battalion in the future? Like, we have games that just came out of the loop and just became super successful, like Rocket League, where it dropped and now it's like super competitive. It's towards the esports community. Would you like to see Battalion go that route? Where exactly are you trying to see Battalion go?
I'd like to see it go both routes, really. Like, I think there's definitely like ammo here to make a really successful esport game. Like Call of Duty 2 and Enemy Territory were both really big esport games at the time, but they didn't have any of that built in. Like Counter-Strike has it all built into like the fibers of Counter-Strike, whereas Call of Duty didn't. So for us, we can take that opportunity now and just say this is going to be an esport game. Now, we're not saying it's going to be like Counter-Strike, which is like directly only esport, really. Like, they've got a few other game modes which are fun, but they're not like, it's not really the primary focus. We're trying to split it, right? Like, if you look at Rocket League's actual tactic is they make a really fun game that's fun to play against and with your friends, fun to beat them, fun to win with them. If you make that really fun, people will want to play esports with it. People will want to do it. It's not like do you guys remember Quake Live and the Trackmania?
Yeah, I
They
remember
were making some like
Trackmania.
Shooter Mania or something they tried to make, and they're like, we're gonna make a competitive an esport shooter, and it doesn't work like that. You have to make it fun to play as a team and fun to play against people and to beat people ultimately to win. It has to be fun to win, and when you do that, which Battalion will, then it'll become an esport. So yeah, I think the what is it called? Rocket League model is the way to go. Fun game first.
Joe, you.
No, yeah,
No, I wanted to say, Joe, you've been saying what I've been saying for years, bro. God bless you. Simple, common sense, bro. Right? Common sense.
Exactly.
You kind of answered my second question on around with the whole what comes first when you develop a game. Do you come in with the mindset like I want an esports game, or do you just come with the mindset of I want to make a very fun game that has a lot of replay value? So you just basically answered it there too, because I didn't know whether or not in development do you guys come up with the sense of all right, I want to make a game that reaches the esports level, because I didn't know the mindset of just the developer.
Well, we gotta. It's in our minds. We're not like just making a game and then hope it's successful. We have to do things to push that side of it. But those games are like Counter-Strike. It's only successful because it's fun in the first place and it's competitive. Like if you don't have that, then there's no point in even trying. It doesn't matter how good your like league management system is or your clan-based kind of thing is. It just matters. Is it fun ultimately to play? Because then people will keep coming back. That's how it works.
So we all know that Unreal Engine 4 is obviously a great engine, one of the most used engines. But just to hear it from you, what was the reason that y'all decided to use Unreal Engine? And also, I saw that y'all decided to use mocap. Was that which is great? And is that something that's, I guess, really expensive? Because you don't see a lot. I don't think you see a lot of independent studios use it. It's usually the bigger ones, because usually I think it's an expensive thing to have. So yeah.
I think it's we have an agreement with a university here that have a motion capture studio, and that's why we're able to get it at affordable rates. And we have a really good animator who's good at this stuff. So we just had the facilities for it, and I think it's comes down to a lot of indie studios don't have the guy and don't have the equipment. Well, we have both, so we can do it. It's that simple. There's still a lot of work that goes into it. It's not like you can just record the animation and it just like goes straight into the game. There's a lot of in between stuff. But yeah, that's on the mocap side. On the Unreal Engine side, I think we're actually the most experienced indie studio in terms of Unreal Engine. We were the first Unreal Engine game on Xbox One. I think the second by about a week on PlayStation 4. So we were one of the first people, including the AAA studios, to release an Unreal Engine game into the market like that. So, we're very experienced with it, and we know them very well and have a great relationship with them. So, why wouldn't we use it? It's as far as we're concerned, it's the best one out there. We know its problems, and we know its high points, and we're just gonna stick with it and ride it as long as we can and keep pushing it and try and become more intelligent elsewhere in things like photogrammetry and what can we improve on outside of Unreal Engine.
Okay. Abel?
Yeah, and congratulations to the whole production team for you guys launching a successful Kickstarter. Congratulations to you guys.
Thank you.
How did this come about, Joe? Did this come about organically, or was this marketed in a certain way and it took off? How did this go for you guys to be so successful?
We didn't think it would be. I think in the back of our minds we sort of debated with each other, like, how can this not work? Like, everybody's saying they want it, we want it, we know they want it, and like, how can it not work? But when you're releasing a Kickstarter and you put money on the line, you're kind of like terrified you're going to lose it all, it's all going to fail. But really, we were like, how is this not going to work? And then it did. And day one, we were like, wow, it's taking off. Day two, we're like, oh, even better. And then day three, it went over the 100 mark, and now it was like, okay, now we need to focus on how can we make this the best, most marketable, most playable, most fun product in the games industry right now. Like, how can we do that? What do we need? So we came up with these stretch goals, and we went away, and in about 2.5 weeks, we've made all the assets there, which is a ridiculous amount of time to do it in. And people have been kind of complaining, where are they? But we could have just uploaded some images, but we wanted to actually do the work first and show everyone that we can. So
and I'm sorry about that to cut you off, Joe. All the assets in game that's made by that's made in house, correct?
We work directly with a character team that we use.
Okay, good.
Okay. It's actually I think the character guy that did the Rise characters. So he's really, really talented.
Okay.
The characters for Forza and those games as well. You know their characters.
Whoa.
But, he's so he's really talented, and that's why we keep getting back to him. But that's the way the industry works. You generally, unless you're a massive studio, you don't have character artists in house, so it's not ridiculous. But then levels and weapons, yeah, we've done that, and we manage and curate all of the stuff in there, and they just make the characters for us, and they're really talented, and that's the best way to do it. Just get it to the most talented guy you can find.
Yep.
Okay.
Agree.
So there's 6 days left in the Kickstarter. For those of you watching, make sure you go to, if you want to support the game, or make sure you go check out their Kickstarter, Battalion 1944. But there's 6 days left. Is there going to be a way for people to support you, maybe monetarily afterwards? I just want to make sure you get that out if there's a way.
What's this? So post game? Is this post game DLC you're saying?
Well, as far because the Kickstarter ends in 6 days. So
yeah. I see what you mean.
As far as supporting the game, that people
not at all. It's we'll be opening up PayPal after the 6 days.
Okay.
It's just literally we haven't had enough time to set it up during, and it takes a long time. But we're gonna open up PayPal. There will be a few days of a small period where you'll be able to purchase the game for the same price as it is on the Kickstarter. For those who couldn't use Kickstarter's payment methods, so for instance, people in the Netherlands generally don't use credit cards. They need PayPal. So for those people who would have initially supported us when we needed it most and backed us early on, they can buy the game for that price then. After those few days, it will go up to a more expensive price, as these do, and it'll just continue to grow. But the game and the alphas and the early access and the betas will all be for sale throughout the next year and next few months. So and hopefully merchandise as well. People seem to be really interested in merchandise. I think we were hiring a community manager starting next month, I think, and he's going to be very busy.
Okay. Anchor?
So I only have another question for you. Clearly the focus for Battalion is on PC. It will be coming to consoles later. And I see that you guys are putting the game on early access on Steam, but it's kind of an obligatory question. Many of my Xbox followers were wondering if you would consider the Xbox preview program where other games like Elite Dangerous and Ark Survival Evolved have really kind of thrived.
So game preview is a funny one because Ark has obviously thrived on it, and we actually had a meeting with Xbox the other day, and we were chatting about it, and just discussing it. So the conversation's happening, we're just not committing to anything. So literally because with it, I don't know, you guys don't really know, but the Xbox certification takes so long and takes so much time. So yeah, I'm sure you've heard actually, but it's you don't want us to waste time doing that. You want us to just make the game. So if we can get it to an agreement where it's not going to take us that, it's not going to cost us time doing it. We're not going to waste time, and frankly, the game is at a good standard when we can release it on preview. Then I'm sure we'd look into doing it. But if it's a case of this is going to take more time than it's worth, the guys just want to get the finished game, then we'll just do that. So, but I like game preview. It looks cool, but we just can't commit to it. Best thing for people to know is that we're talking to Microsoft about it. We have a really good relationship with them already from our previous games. But we're fully aware of it, and those discussions are happening. So.
Okay. So we've heard a lot of things from different developers about DirectX 12. I've heard it was either you or one of your staff in the trailer mention it, and using it in the game. How do you think that will help the game?
About using what, sorry?
DirectX 12.
DirectX 12. So, I mean, it's a bit of a gray area, really. We're gonna have to test it. I mean, DirectX 12 supposedly means you can have way more polys, triangles, and objects in the game. and it's just way better for rendering large scenes. So it might not be as beneficial for us as it is for Armor, for instance, but it'll still be beneficial regardless. So we'll just have to kind of play it by ear. But new DirectX and new tech whenever we can get it is always good. That's always gonna there's always gonna be something there that we can learn from, adapt, and improve. So why wouldn't we go with the latest thing?
Ricky, did you have another question?
Yeah, just one more thing I just wanted to mention was that I think you and the whole team came in at the perfect time because right now the community, or just should I say the games that have been dropping first-person shooters, are very oversaturated as far as the futuristic play, and it kind of guys like us kind of fell back a bit. And I definitely want to say we all appreciate this, and I wish nothing but success in this game, and we 100% support everything you're doing, and we really just want to see more updates and everything that comes along the line. So just want to say congrats for that, man.
Oh, thank you. No, we'll definitely be pushing more Twitch streaming and these kind of things. I think we talked about having a kind of Call of Duty night or something, getting the community together and everybody playing. That'd be fun, and just kind of meet and play with the developers and just everybody becoming a whole social community together. And I mean, we've already got a great community.
Do you have a beta releasing?
You'll be over the next few months to between now and up to like May 2017. There'll be something coming along, but like I said, we won't be releasing anything that's not really good and really fun.
Mm-hmm.
No problem. Thank you.
Just one more thing I wanted to say. Obviously, I know that you're creating a game that's coming, that's being funded from people's pockets, and there's a lot of pressure and everything like that. But I would still say definitely, take your time because, even if it will take longer, people appreciate the finished product, because I'm sure you've noticed the trend of release dates being announced and no developer ever being able to meet it. So
that's the problem with that is it's not the developers, it's the publishers.
Right.
So that is the guys that, like, if you look at Assassin's Creed Unity, that's the guys at the top saying, right, we need to get one out in Q4 or whatever, and then they're saying, oh, well, we can. And they're saying, well, do it, and just hire more people. And that's not how it works. Like, games do take time to make, and when you fix one thing, you might break another thing, and you can't just do that. And it takes a lot of guts for a studio to say we're going to delay a deadline, but they're only doing that with the best intentions of making a good game. So because if they released it as it was, if they hit that deadline, then that'd be a problem. So often it's not the studios setting the deadline; it's the publishers and the guys with the big suits kind of thing.
Okay, Anchor, last question or comment?
Just one. This is a probably really simple one. A lot of people are wondering whether is this just a European theater, or are you guys considering maybe some Pacific theater later in the future?
Yeah, I mean, we did a stretch goal for the Pacific. I think it's £600,000, about $900,000, I think. So yeah, we're definitely kind of going for that, but it just costs money again. Like, especially with the Pacific one, that you've got to. So if you think, oh yeah, you just got to add like the Japanese. Yeah, well, it was the Marines fighting in the Pacific, so now you've got to make a whole new character set for the Marines. It's not just like the US or one form. You guys have like 10 military units. You know what I mean? So it racks up. So Russia's on there and Britain's on there as well. And the thing with Britain is the Germans with a very similar and not the same uniform and the same environments. But when it goes over to Japan and Russia, they're very, very different.
Okay.
So.
Last thing I gotta ask this. So the pacing, will it be one of those fast paced or more slow and tactical?
In between, I think. In between.
Okay.
People are asking for both, so why not do it in the middle? I think if you look at Call of Duty 2, there's no sprint. You get your pistol out, you move slightly faster, and if you look at Call of Duty 4, you're just like way too fast. Like it's so. You sprint, and on PC you can like strafe and fly yourself an extra like 5 meters and that kind of thing. So I think having a sprint in Call of Duty 2 and you're going slightly faster, there's a good pace there. We're talking about aim with one-shot rifles and stuff. We're talking about less spray and pray now, more like quick reactions, good aim, that kind of thing. So yeah, I think a middle ground would be good.
Okay, Abel, last question or comment?
Yes. Yeah. Again, congratulations to you guys. You're doing phenomenal work, and I'm going to continue to follow the development on this title. What is your best advice that you could give an independent studio starting a game?
An independent studio?
Yeah.
Make sure you tell your friends and family because you'll need their help eventually. Um, Make
Mm.
sure don't make your game bigger than you think you can make it. Like, know what you're making and commit to it. And ultimately, everybody thinks you're gonna fail. I think you're gonna fail. You guys all think whoever this indie is gonna fail, but that's the way it is. Doesn't mean you are gonna fail. So you just gotta
Mm.
keep going. But
Okay.
I do think you're gonna fail, but prove me wrong.
Mm. Okay, so Joe, we really want to thank you for coming. We know you're
Oh
busy,
no,
got working on the game, working
this
on
was fun. This
you
was
got
fun.
some other interviews. So we appreciate it, man. I definitely
Yeah,
appreciate
Thank you so
showing
much,
on the
Joe.
Thank you.
podcast.
no
Man. I
worries,
Yeah.
appreciate
guys.
that,
Thank you,
brother.
Joe. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot,
So
guys. Thank you.
so thank all the viewers for coming through and watching. I'll put the information for Battalion 1944 in the Kickstarter. Sometimes I make a mistake, say 1994.
They did IGN did it, or no,
Oh
GameSpot did
Lord.
it since 1994. I was like, what is that? Like, I don't even know what that is.
Like crazy.
I'm
Like
sorry, that was
what? There was definitely no war in there. I was like, what am
All
I doing?
right.
Yeah. So like I said, we thank you. We'll put all the links in the description for Battalion Kickstarter and studio information. And yeah, that's it. We're out of here.